Carol gets here, we'll go. Would you please stand? We'll start with Procession of States. The American Flag by Lisa Court, number 462. From Connecticut, Tonica Cox, number 120. From Vermont, Peter Allard, 001. From Massachusetts, Calvin Castan, 462. From New York, R. John Paffenbeck. From Rhode Island, Stephanie Davis, 1016. Hey, Stephanie. Hi, Stephanie.
Stand up, we can't see you over the flag.
From Maine, Glenn McKenty, 461. From New Hampshire, Judy Wilburn. And from New Jersey, Ed Wagner. That's all right.
Same thing.
Brian Carson.
Better than Stephanie.
I'd now like to call the meeting to order. Please uninstall your cell phone, pagers, stuff like that. Could we have invocation by Past President Lucille Tomkowski, number 467.
I think I'm allowed to have a voice, I can say it from here.
Okay.
Here.
I don't think I need that one.
All right, go for it.
Everybody can hear me, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this convention. Help us to engage in meaningful discussions and allow us to grow closer as a group. Thank you for everyone's safe arrival and continue to remind us that all we do this weekend is for the service of our communities. We ask this for your glory and praise. Amen.
Would you now join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, Dan Wilcox is down here, so the opening moment we'll have to do together.
Rocky was doing.
All right, who's got the... Okay, we're going to start. Again with welcome greetings and sovereigns now we come to watch and guard the future for those we love at home. Be thankful to the giver of every earthly flame. We now ascribe the honor due to his holy name. Guard well your treasures, sovereigns, and ever ready be to help the mourning loved ones when we have crossed life's sea. Let justice rule your actions and generous conduct own, that happiness and plenty may all our efforts crown. Please be seated. Can we have the roll call of jurisdiction officers and delegates, please? I have 10 delegates. Go through the whole list.
Rodney Barber.
Here.
Michelle Geiger.
Here.
Denise McCauley.
Here.
James Shaver.
Here.
Mickey Pennington.
Present.
Lucille Stemkowski.
Here.
Wilfred Trombley.
Here.
John T. Ellis.
You'll be here tonight.
1:30.
We're here late.
Philip Yanulis. I guess I'm here. Carol Gordon. Here. Michael Horn.
He's here, but out of the room at the moment.
Donald Zabrowski.
Here.
Robert Grasso.
Here.
Is it coming down, Linda?
John Wilcox is coming later. Joan Edwards.
Here.
Jackie Fayette.
Here.
Russell Blaze.
Here.
Prescott Scott Fayette.
Here.
Glenn McKinney.
Here.
Linda Gagnon Horn.
Here.
Margaret Gale Davis.
Here.
Richard Roman.
Here.
Bob Cole.
Here.
Kayan Lang.
Here.
Peter Allard.
Here.
Jamie Seeholzer.
She's on her way.
Jenny Lynn McDonald.
Present.
Stacy Moonier.
Here.
Tanika Cox.
Here.
Mahogany McBride.
Here.
Nancy Tyson Alexander.
En route.
Patricia Fleming.
She's coming with her.
Patty Ann Hart.
Here.
Margaret Van Tassel.
Here.
Donald Clare.
Here.
Fred Peters.
Here.
Kathy Feisenbach.
Here.
John Feisenbach.
Here.
Gary Levine.
Here.
Marie Trombley.
Present.
Ellen McGinty.
Here.
Karina Fayette.
Here.
Erika Prevost Fayette.
Here.
Erica. Tim Gagnon.
Here.
Angela Sempica.
Here.
Alvin Castine.
Present.
Lisa Laporte.
Here.
Floyd Burson.
Here.
Charlene Trombley,
Here.
Stacy Brooks,
Present.
Judy Castine,
Here.
Elaine Roman,
Here.
Lydia Rothkrantz,
Here.
Daniel Urich,
Here.
Margaret Peggy Urich,
Here.
Yvonne Bezio,
Here.
Sharon Bezio,
Here.
Jason Trombley, Ariel Trombley,
Here.
Stephanie Davis,
On our way.
Sean Davies,
Here.
Jeffner Zuckerberg,
Here.
Mark Zuckerberg,
Here.
Barry Finnegan,
Here.
Kevin St. Louis,
Present.
Judy Wilburn,
Here.
Joanne Wilbur,
Here.
Ed Wagner, and here he's on the way. Lisa Weiss,
Here.
Ryan Carr,
Here.
Cheryl Barber,
Here.
Aaron Zurinsky,
Present.
Eric Kiefer,
Somewhere.
He's here. He's here.
Somewhere.
Maybe he's got that one.
He doesn't show up, does he?
He's here, he signed in.
Can't put him
But he's not
in. Not here.
He's not at the meeting.
Aaron Carlson,
He's with him.
He's with him.
With him.
Robert McCauley, what about the guests?
We don't really need to track them.
We don't need to track the guests, okay?
Yes. We don't track it again.
Roll calls completed.
I have like 9 people who are not here. I know of one that told me he wouldn't be here. One.
2, 3, 2. I got 8.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm sorry. There are 8 people that are late. The only one I know about was John Ellis. Because he's on a plane on the way here. As the minutes go, if you're not here for roll call, you might not get paid. I'm going to waive that for a while. Until what time?
I had 2 call the state office. They'd be late for work.
Yeah, usually
I
as
can
long
say
as
3 for
they're
sure.
even in the seat.
Well,
If they show up tomorrow, that's not so.
yeah, you got to be here by my time. All right. Just seems kind of strange to look out and see no one here. Well,
It's a big world.
yeah. I'd like to take a minute and introduce our national guest, Dr. James Shaver. Is he here?
He is.
He's here. Ricky Pennington. And Michelle Giebel. I'd like to introduce our regional manager. He still is, as far as I'm concerned, Rodney Barber.
This is the gentleman who's going to be here.
Thank you.
Maybe they should be in the-
Okay. We'd like to take this opportunity to thank the Queensberry for the great job they did. We're going to find out more as we go along through the weekend. And we'll take a second and thank them for coming to us. Would you, Jared, would you come please? This is a 4x6 United States flag. Fly it proudly in the name of Woodman.
Thank you very much. Thank you all for joining us. We look forward to having a great weekend with you guys. Thank you.
We have a proclamation I'd like to read to you. We had hoped that the mayor would be here, but they have a lot of people over there, 20-some people, no one could find the time to be here. Kind of makes me sad, but we have the proclamation. It's very nice. So I'd like to read it to you all. The City of Glens Falls Mayoral Proclamation. It says, whereas the Woodman Life Organization is gathered this weekend in the city of Glens Falls for its biannual convention, and we welcome them and thank them for choosing the city of their gathering. And in so doing, we recognize the great communications the Woodman Life Organization makes to patriotism, community service, and charitable good work. And the great commitment in manifesting itself through its convention. In its city project, the Belief Family Service Association of Glens Falls with food, equipment, and clothing to be used to improve the lives of those in need throughout our community. Yeah?
Here's the also, so yeah. Come on, Howard.
He's saying, well, somebody's here.
Jamie Stolzer. Vermont delegate, Wisdom.
Jamie C. Walter, Vermont.
Yeah,
She's here.
Chaparral.
where is he? Oh,
Then sign.
I don't think it's very good to interrupt us. Additionally, Woodman Life, in the spirit of patriotism, is donating the American flag to every classroom in the Glens Falls City School District and at Abraham Wing School. And it is appropriate that we recognize the honor for Woodman Life, not only for the acts of community service, but for a lengthy legacy of service in communities across the country. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Daniel L. Hall, Mayor of the City of Glens Falls, in connection with the Glens Falls Common Council, do hereby declare the weekend of April 12th to the 14th, 2019 to be Woodman Life Weekend. In the City of Glens Falls, and urge all residents to take note of this civil-minded organization and appreciate its commitment to serve their community and family. If any would like to see this, I'll put it on up here on the thing. On the Diaz. On the Diaz. Okay. I'd like to welcome you to this convention. It's my pleasure to welcome you to this hometown where I grew up. I grew up here. We have a very interesting schedule of events to greet you during this convention. During your free time, I'd like to invite you to visit the downtown area to see what our mayor has offered you while you're here. The city of Glens Falls has completely modernized their storefronts and walkways. So please enjoy a walking tour of a proud city during your stay. we were placed at Mayor Hall, was going to make a proclamation. And then our days are labeled as Woodman Life Weekend. About 3 miles north are the outlets for you shoppers. And just about 7 miles north is on Route 9, sits the village of Lake George, which, if you find time, is a must to visit. The beautiful Queen of Lakes. I'd like to take a moment now to address the committees. And they will be, what's that?
Oh, okay.
Yep. Okay. Carol Norton is the chair of the scholarship committee. Her helpers are Lisa Laporte, Danny Urick, Judy Wilburn, Ariel Trombley, Matt Southwick, Kathy Paffenbeck, and Stacy Brooks. On the Credentials Committee, Robert Blaze is the chair. Elaine Roman, Angela Simpica, Barbara Hebert, Patricia Flemings, and Stacy Musick. On the Mileage and Per Diem, chair is my wife, Marie Trombley, Lisa Laporte, Robert Gagnon, not here.
What?
Yeah.
That's not what. These are the scholarship.
I'm looking at the list that I submitted.
Yeah. Let's see, once again,
Oh, well, you know what happened, there's some changes made there. Yeah, some of them
changes were
changed.
made after we found out people weren't coming.
Yes,
Life's good.
yeah. No, it's, all right, let's start with the miles and per diem again. My wife is going to do it, she's chair. Lisa Laporte, Ariel Trombley, Jennifer Zuckerberg, and Erica Prevost. Nomination Committee. Lucille Stamkowski is the chair. Rodney Barber. Robert Grasso. Linda Gagnon Horn. Doris Sullivan. Myself. And Donna Zabrowski. On the Resolution Committee. Aaron Zerzwinski, chair. Fred Peters, Linda Weiss, Charlene Trombley, and Tim Gagnon. On the Auction Committee, we have Glenn McKenty as the chair, Bob Cole, Nancy Tyson Alexander, Linda Rothwitz, and Joanne Wilbur. On the Hospitality Committee, everybody from 461, which is Ellen McKenty, Marie Trombley, Karina Fayette, and Erica Prevost. On the Fraternal Committee, we have Russell Blaze as chair, Prescott Fayette, John Lacey's down here, Glenn McKenty, and Linda Gagnon Horn. And now this is the trustees. Jacqueline Fayette, 461. She's used to replace Philip Yanulis, who's our treasurer, or secretary. James Noller is going to be replaced with Elaine Roman. Joan Edwards and Phil Yanulis. I'm going to replace him with Judy Caston, 462. Are there any questions? Now, our National Director, Denise McCauley, will speak to you and will introduce the National President's message, will be followed by a large question and answer period.
Thank you, Well. Thanks everybody for having us. My husband and I appreciate it, and Dr. Shaver appreciates it. I think I was here about 4 years ago, when this last time, so I remember seeing so many of you and appreciate it. What I want to do is introduce a video. There is a unique video for this area, and I think you can guess why, because of the announcement that we would no longer sell new business here. We want to make sure that everybody's really clear that doesn't change our commitment to service the enforced business as well as support the fraternal organization. And so the video is going to talk specifically about that and also the future of our fraternal program in general across the country. So if you can just turn your attention to President Dees and his message, and then we will open it up and Dr. Shaver will open it for questions at the end. Thank you.
Welcome to your 2019 Jurisdictional Convention. We've prepared this video specifically for you, our Whitman Life Northeast jurisdiction. As you are well aware, there are two distinct sides to Whitman Life, the business side and then there's the fraternal side. On the business side, you're all aware that we've made the decision to cease new product sales in New York. This decision was made for a number of reasons and in no way reflects on the behavior or performance of the Northeast Region's sales team. The business conditions in the state of New York are unique compared to other areas where we sell our products. The majority of states are part of a compact, which helps speed up the process for new product consideration and approval for several states at one time. The state of New York is not part of this compact, which makes it more difficult to get approved to sell products in the state. This has limited the array of products we can offer in New York, which makes it less viable for sales representatives to make the standard of living they deserve. It also increases the overhead needed to maintain a sales structure in the state. So in making this decision, we analyze sales, market share, profitability, costs, and state regulatory factors. When looking at all these factors together, it simply didn't make good financial sense to continue focusing on new sales in the Northeast jurisdiction. It was very important to us to try to take care of our Northeast sales associates affected by this decision. We've offered opportunities in other parts of the country to all of these individuals. As we continue to look at the business side of this, I want to assure you once again that every certificate issued in your area is backed by Whitman Life. If you purchased your certificate in New York, you've received a letter about how we'll continue to service your existing certificate in the future. We've set up a dedicated phone number just for you. It's important that you also know that this in no way means Whitman Life is in financial peril. We reached nearly $11 billion in assets at year-end 2018, and AM Best recently reaffirmed our A+ rating. Making the choice to cease sales in New York supports our commitment to decisions that continue to increase our stability and to maintain our financial strength. Now let's talk about the fraternal side. What this decision will not mean is changing our commitment to supporting our community presence in New York. It certainly does not mean we turn our back on our shared commitment to family, community, and country in your area. We're reinforcing our commitment to your community outreach programs and structure this jurisdiction by adding a community outreach advisor. Hopefully you've had the time to meet Mickey Pennington, who's here at your convention. Please share with him the main things that he can do to support your chapters, in addition to continuing the quality family events that will still be planned uniquely for your region. We have no plans to move or reallocate chapter funds that you use to support the family, community, and patriotic needs in your areas. You as a group will continue to have a place and standing in the rich history and future of commitment to giving back. It's also important that you know that there are no plans to consolidate or merge your fraternal efforts with Pennsylvania. Michelle Geibel is the regional director in Pennsylvania and will be supporting your independent fraternal activities. I had the opportunity to meet in person with many of your jurisdictional officers and fraternal corporation board members and share the information that I've just shared with you. I was encouraged by their passion for continuing to do good works. As I mentioned, we created this unique video just for you, but I also want to share some information that is being presented at every jurisdiction this spring. We've made some pretty significant enhancements over the past 2 years that have made us an even better organization. Continuing this momentum, we have even more exciting improvements to tell you about. The first enhancement comes as part of our efforts to bring our technology up to speed. First, I want to remind you why it's so imperative to upgrade our technology. Consumers today expect the convenience and accessibility that they've increased dramatically over time. Just think about the way, for instance, that banking has changed. Years ago, everything operated on cash or checks. If you wanted cash, you had to go to the bank during regular hours. If you wanted to check your balance, you had to visit the bank or wait for your monthly statement to come. As ATMs came into existence, you could access your money anytime, day or night. Things became even more convenient with the introduction of debit cards. The explosion of online services has made things even more convenient. You can now access your statements online and see transactions appear almost immediately in a phone app. This is the world we now live in, and the decisions we make reflect on what today's consumers expect. This will be vital for Whitman Life in the years to come. We're in the midst of replacing our policy administration system, which has served us well. This is the computer system that helps us accept applications, process them, and ultimately issue certificates. As we began installing the new system, we had to make a decision about whether or not to program the new system to collect fraternal dues separately. You may not know it, but we're currently among the last fraternal organizations still charging separately for dues. Other fraternal organizations have shifted this funding to the organization itself. We have decided that once the new system goes live, we will no longer collect separate fraternal dues with your premium. This is great news, as many of you will see your regularly scheduled premium payments go down. First, our board has agreed to be the direct funding source for community efforts. Your chapter will receive financial support just as you previously did from dues. Our plan to support your chapter when we're ready to transition is to establish monthly income for your chapter consistent with what the chapter has historically been receiving. This will be a set amount each month, which will make it easier to plan your efforts for the year. Let me show you how it will work. We will calculate your chapter funds by looking to a prior 12-month history. For the Northeast jurisdiction, we will look at 2018. Let me briefly remind you how the process works currently. As members pay their premiums, we receive dues in the home office. We send the net amount after deductions to your chapter. You'll notice that the amounts are not all the same. This is because members make payments at different frequencies, so your chapter currently receives a different amount each month. After we transition to direct financial support, there will be consistency in the amount your chapter receives each month. You'll notice that over the course of the year, the total matches up with the historical net income. We have committed to maintaining this level for your active chapters in the Northeast jurisdiction for 3 years. Another enhancement I'd like to tell you about today is one I think you'll be excited about. As you know, a representative form of governance is an important piece of a fraternal organization. We will continue to uphold this tradition, holding a national convention every 4 years. However, we are adjusting the format of our jurisdictional gatherings. Historically, jurisdictional conventions have been funded by fraternal dues, so they are also affected by the change to dues collection. Jurisdictions as they currently exist will be phased out. In transition, 2021 will be the last jurisdictional convention. At that 2021 convention, you will elect national delegates, but not a new slate of officers. The jurisdictional president that presides at your 2021 jurisdictional convention will automatically become your final jurisdictional past president and will attend the national convention as one of your national delegates. There will be opportunities for you to serve in regional leadership roles and place in jurisdictional offices. We'll give you more information on that on down the road. And here's the really great news. In the future, you'll be invited to attend annual regional events instead of jurisdictional conventions every 2 years. These will be hosted in the Northeast region and will be unique for you. This means that you'll get to reconnect with your fellow Woodman Life members even more often. Every year, you'll get a chance to reunite with Woodman Life leaders and staff and share ideas. These will be fun, less formal celebrations that include an entertainment element and a hands-on national community-focused project. In conjunction with the change to collecting fraternal dues, the home office will fund these celebrations. Michelle and Mickey will work with you and plan to host these events. It also means that we, as an organization, will be able to give you the recognition you deserve in a timelier manner and more often. It will also give us extra chances to get your feedback on issues that matter to you. And finally, unlike jurisdictional conventions, these celebrations will be open to any member who would like to attend. We will be able to include more members in these events than ever before. On behalf of myself, the executive team, and the board of directors, we're excited for the chance to get to meet with you each and every year. Other organizations like ours conduct their voting by mail-in ballot, and we just didn't feel that was a good fit for Woodman Life. We like meeting you face-to-face and hearing your opinions in person. Historically, jurisdictional conventions were held every 4 years. Then in 1969, it was restructured for them to take place every 2 years. Now, 50 years later, we're announcing the plan to gather each and every year. We keep you in mind with every decision we make. We want to provide the best experience possible. The enhancements we've announced today are for the betterment of Woodman Life and our members, and will help ensure that we're competitive for years to come. We did not make these decisions about member dues or jurisdictional gatherings based on cost savings. We're simply shifting things so that we provide the best value to you as our members and continue to help you make the most meaningful impact in your communities. These decisions directly support our mission. As you relay this information back to your chapters, we'd like you to share the benefits they'll see from these improvements. Decreasing premium payments, an improved member experience resulting from new technology, a better way for chapters to consistently maintain their level of funding, and finally, annual events where Woodman Life can reward, communicate, and collaborate with members on a regular basis. It is a great responsibility to lead these innovative changes. We've grown continuously stronger since our founding in 1890, and we need to be even stronger 129 years from now. At this time, we're just introducing these changes to you. These are long-term shifts that will be rolled out over the next few years. But as our most engaged members, you are the heart of our organization, and we wanted you to hear about these improvements before anyone else. You will receive more information as we get closer to putting these improved practices in place. Now that I've shared the information that all other jurisdictions are receiving, I wanted to close your video with some great news. I acknowledge that our decision to not sell products in your jurisdiction results in no new members coming into your chapters this year. We have decided that each of the New York Region's chapters will automatically receive the $500 chapter growth bonus at the end of each year. Please welcome Mickey Pennington, your Community Outreach Advisor. I'm excited to introduce you to him and encourage you to take the opportunity to get to know him. He's here this weekend to listen and learn about what you do here in the Northeast. Please allow Michelle Geibel, our Pennsylvania Regional Director, to demonstrate her love for our fraternal objectives. She'll be helping support your upcoming family activities as well as meetings like this. As a group, you will continue to have autonomy. I think it's important that you know that this has worked successfully in other areas. We have 5-star chapters throughout the country without sales teams to rely on. I want to personally thank you for the community support you've provided so far. The folks here at this meeting have done great things in their communities, and the decision to stop selling in New York is in no way related to these efforts. As a group, you will maintain your strong community focus, and will still determine how you want to give back locally. You will also have input on family activities as you have in the past. I'm excited to see the ways you continue to share our commitment to family, community, and country. You have been and will continue to be a crucial part of our community efforts.
I'd like to go ahead and open it up for questions now, and I've asked Dr. Shearer to join me at the podium, so just want to stand and offer questions, that would be great. And at the same time, Nikki, would you mind going ahead, we have a handout to pass out as well that kind of goes over the future forward plans that you can have to take back to your chapters as well. Please go ahead.
I just really want to, understand what our president had just said, that our last Northeast Convention will be on 2021, is that correct?
That will be the last jurisdictional convention.
That's what I meant, the jurisdiction, okay?
Then you'll start having annual events from every year.
And that's across the country, that's not unique to the Northeast.
Okay, the only thing we live in, Long Island, and, we have to travel very far, so I hope when they start doing these events, they think about that, that we don't have to travel 8 hours to go to an event. You know what I mean? So
I think that would be good to coordinate with Vicki and Michelle, as they're planning those types of things in the future to consider location.
okay. And one of the questions that we had thought about, we had quite a few, but one that I'll bring up is particular for scholarship, that you have to be 100% family. We have a particular family on Long Island that they have triplets, they have 3 children, the mother is a member, the 3 children, and I know the father is not a member. Now, they are still young, they're only like 14, 15 years old. So this is just an example. Now, they will not have the opportunity to be 100% family. How will this go forward?
They won't have to be. The 100% family rule has been waived.
Has been waived. Well, thank you.
Good, how much?
Okay, just when are we going to send us a letter?
Speak up.
Can't hear you.
Repeat the question.
My question, due in relation to Jim's answer, when are they going to send out a letter letting us know about these changes, what we can look forward to? Nothing is in writing. We hear the words, we have seen nothing at all in writing. And then my other question is, who's going to fund those excursions if we're no longer paying dues? On the jurisdictional level.
Okay. The second answer on where the money's coming from, the Home Office is picking up the tab for all of those moving forward. Now, moving forward, future products, now it won't apply here, but the money's still going to come from those. Future products, the fraternal program will be built into the price instead of separately billing dues. It's all going to be built into the price, so the money will be coming from the future, but there's plenty of money to put on the conventions going forward.
Well, convention money, yes.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is when they start after 2021, for that next year, who's going to fund?
Same thing. It's going to be based on the money that you've been getting in the past. It's going to be budgeted the same way, based on what it used to be with membership. But you're going to still be getting the same amount of money. It's going to be split into 2.
I'm the treasurer.
Okay.
I'm secretary for our chapter. On my activity report, I'm jurisdictional dues.
Right.
So my $3, I pay jurisdictional dues. I also send the dollar to the fraternal. The rest of the dues comes into my chapter. So the structure that I'm hearing is saying that
it's gonna be in the overall Woodland Life budget. It'll be a budgeted item in the home office. And the money is gonna be the same as you have been getting. We're just gonna do a look back at what you have been getting, and you're gonna continue to get the
I
same.
need it written out, please.
He just said 3 years.
Yeah, he said 3 years.
3 years.
That's not what he said when he talked to us in Albany. That is not what he said when he talked to us in Albany.
For 3 years for what?
That's all we're going to continue to guarantee this for.
Well, the guarantee was for the amount you're getting in your check.
Right.
For 2018, he said 3 years for the 2018 rate, and then after that, they would review to see, because there's going to be loss in each of the chapters. Obviously, you're going to sell new products, and unfortunately, people do die.
Yeah,
He said, but he's going to guarantee.
Yeah, he guaranteed 3
3
years.
years dues for each chapter at the 2018 rate.
So what's going to happen after the 3 years?
Well, it's possible Pat could look at it and say we're going to continue, or it could be he looks at the memberships.
He's going to reach out.
Yeah.
Because inevitably the memberships are going to go down. And eventually, over time, maybe a long time, the chapters are going to be non-existent. Non-existent. And Peggy Urick, I'm Vice President of Chapter 467. I'm sure you've heard this before, but I haven't had the opportunity to say this. I was not only shocked when I heard this, but very disappointed. Very disappointed that the fraternal organization that I've been part of and my family has been part of for about 30 years, nearly 30 years, is no longer going to sell in my state or jurisdiction. And part of that feeling was that I wouldn't have a wonderful representative to speak to.
Person to person.
Person to person, on a yearly basis, on a phone call basis if I have a question. Now I know there's supposed to be a dedicated person in the home office. I personally don't know who that person is yet or what that number is that can help us with our questions about our policies. But to me, that is not the same. And the fact that, I don't think I would have been as bothered or hurt if I was part of a commercial insurance company. But the fact that this is a fraternal insurance company made it all the more difficult to accept and to have to continue on this way. I don't happen to have family members in New York that need product, but I can feel for other families, younger families, who might, and they won't be able to get it. Well, except by going through the home office. That's right, you can't. I can't get that through my head yet. It doesn't even sound right. So I wanted to take this opportunity to let you know how I feel, and I would imagine many other people feel. There was not even an inkling that this was coming down the pipe, at least to my chapter. Not even an inkling that it was even being thought about. I also think that's a shame. So anyhow, now we have heard, maybe inaccurate, that New Jersey, which is part of our jurisdiction, was going to go into whatever jurisdiction Pennsylvania has. Is that true or not true?
No, that is not to my knowledge, but I also want to address the rest of your questions, but I don't want to interrupt you.
No, that's okay.
Okay, first off, thank you for your honesty, and I can only imagine having been with the organization for almost 11 years, it is troubling. I totally understand that. First off, there is a phone number established already, which is 833 Woodman. So that's available for anyone to call. And there are a combination of customer service as well as licensed reps who are available in New York. I think we didn't directly address Carol's question earlier, which was, hey, how do we get all this in writing? I think we owe some follow-up in regard to that, because so that we're all on the same page again. Yes. You know, I think at the end of the day, the challenge is, as part of life insurance, which really is the primary focus of Woodman Life, we have a constant requirement to comply with the law. And as we were looking at products with our recent 2017 CSO requirement to comply to those, it has been not possible for us to have products that are available in the life insurance. So the number that were going to be available, whether we were selling here or not, we're not going to take care of customers here. And that is a challenge. There are other organizations that are uniquely domiciled here, and that is also a challenge for a fraternal. There are some things, and so as difficult as it is, it really became an apparent decision that it isn't something that anybody would have chosen to do. It just was the circumstances and the environment. But thank you very much for your honesty. Yes, please.
Maybe I'm wrong on this, but I've heard that this was done with Arizona several years ago. How does that work out?
We do still have, we have a few states, Illinois, Ohio, and in those cases, they have an active fraternal system in place. In Arizona and New Mexico, they have a shared situation with Southwest Texas, and we still have sales reps that are available to support them in that area. I don't have specifics on those sales right now. It's a little bit different in regard to what's happening here, and that new sales are still supported. Yeah,
I'm very disappointed that he keeps blaming New York, because if the problem was just New York, why pull out of New Jersey? Why pull out of New England?
Well, a big piece of that is what are the sales in those areas, and in order to have a sales force that can support that across. And so in looking at what the available product support is for that was the decision, Linda. It had to do with...
But he keeps blaming New York, but again, if the problem is New York, New Jersey is a pretty popular state, New England, why pull out of everywhere if your problem is with New York? Why blame New York if you're really pulling it out? And during our meeting with Mr. Dees, he told us that the decision was made to move the funding that comes to our New England to California. So to keep making this statement that it's because of New York's regulatory practices, which I give the state kudos for because it's kept us out of trouble, that other states have had, or whether insurance companies are robbing people. I don't, be honest. You're not seeing the bang for your buck in the jurisdiction, and you want to put it elsewhere, be honest about it to everybody. Don't just keep blaming New York.
Well, and if it's coming across to blame New York, that isn't the case. That sounds that way. What is true is that about 39 states have a compact requirement, and that's where we happen to do the majority of our business. And when there is a unique state, and New York happens to be more unique, it is more costly to put new product. And in our case, we have had great difficulty of getting new products approved and the life insurance side. So there was a decision because of this decision then to reallocate those funds. That doesn't mean it was done because of that. That was just I think what Pat was trying to say is that was just the outcome of that decision.
The other question is when we met with Mr. Dees, we suggested that this video be available on CD for each of the chapters to be able to bring it back to their members. Is that going to happen?
I believe yes, I believe that was the plan.
Okay, well, we don't have it.
Mickey,
Mickey, I can get it.
Yeah.
I can get it too.
Thank you.
thank you, Brenda. Yes, go ahead, I'm sorry. Thank you.
I have never been a salesperson for women. I've always been just a life insurance member for the last 15 years. I've held every office except secretary in our chapter, dedicated to Vermont, chapter 1. Very strong, although small chapter is extremely strong, has always maintained a 5-star and working in our community. How is that affecting us since we have worked diligently to work right across the pond from us with Plattsburgh and those chapters as well? I mean, I don't see a chapter growth. How would we help New York grow if we can't add members? And I think she's pointed out that you're basically crushing the chapters and waiting for people to die. It's extremely disappointing to say that we've worked so hard to get younger members into our chapter, to work with our older members, including even children, and doing all these great things, that you're not allowing one of our, I mean, most of what's represented here is New York. And we recognize a lot of our New York members, and what are they going to do about this? This isn't, and I'm not talking money because I don't care about the money. That money's not that part to me. It's the people. Vermont is community oriented, and this part in true upstate New York, Plattsburgh, Malone, Lords, and all these rural areas are a community. And how does the companies, how are they looking at that? That it's dollars and cents, and it doesn't make sense. So do they have any inclination or desire to do that, or is it just those are farming communities, those are those people, we just don't deal with them anymore because they want big business, they want the cities, they want...
Yeah, quite honestly, our market is not in big cities. We are typically in what is considered rural types of environments. So it is not an intention to walk away from rural communities. If you look at even like Georgia, the most of our members are not in the city of Atlanta or Savannah. They're in the greater area.
But you have to understand, Vermont has less than 700,000 residents total for the entire state. So when I say we're rural, if a town has 800 people, that's common where we're from. That's a community. They're really walking away from those communities which we work hard, really hard, to maintain those communities, to maintain those values, and maintain what we have done for years. How are they, I understand the sentiment. I've put 15 years of my life into this chapter.
I've been a member 16 years. I have all my family, my sister, my brother, his wife, my nieces, my nephews. I just registered my granddaughter when she was born a year and a half ago. What's going to happen to her policy?
How do we support
What if I
that?
have another grandchild? They can't become part of us. We have to do 5 years. I called, emailed actually, Omaha, when I got that letter. I still haven't got a response. I can call Albany, and within 2 days, I have an answer. I may not like the answer, but I have an answer. They respond. Omaha never responded.
It's as if we're forcing our younger generation to be segregated from something wonderful, and that's wrong.
Well, I am not going to debate the sentiment that you have, as I understand that this is a great organization, and absolutely, we all want people to be a part of it. Where we're at is that is the decision in terms of not selling new business. In terms of not getting a contact, I want to make sure you have the right email address, because you absolutely
That's the
should.
letter you sent me.
Okay, well, I can follow up while you're here, and you absolutely should be able to call the phone number I provided or send an email.
You're going to have to follow up with every one of us and every member in all of our chapters,
because a lot of us have tried to call, a lot of us have tried to email, and I haven't heard anybody give an answer. And it was never made clear that you were pulling out of all the other states. It sounded like New York was the problem. You definitely have never communicated properly. And by the way, I am chapter 1024, New York, Tupper Lake. We have had the honor of having the top salesman in all of Woodman life, and just plain Woodman, for years. Talk about sales, talk about rural. We just had 7 months of winter. Our people were out there selling. So something's wrong someplace. And in kindergarten, we teach children, when they come to school, they have to now follow rules. Sometimes it's going to be a little hard. They're going to have to learn how to get along, check on things, investigate, maybe have to decide that they're going to have to decide if they're going to be a team player or not. But these decisions were made without us. I mean, it's just like she said, this isn't corporate, commercial business. This is us. You have really put all of us in a very bad state. We also live in a community that has no industry, no businesses, no corporate, no Walmarts, nothing. And our Woodman Fraternal Organization is who committed to our communities. We're the one giving, but we were all proud because maybe Susie and Johnny could not give to a group, but because they were Woodmen, they were giving. I'm sorry, but somebody really needs to think again. No communications, nothing. It's April. We received that letter in January. Sorry, it's not maybe you.
No, we will certainly,
But guess what?
It's reflecting you.
that's very fair, very fair. Yes, yes. Yeah.
I'm Donna Zabrowski.
Oh,
I'm
yes.
And as the demonstrators that were here last month, I wasn't very quiet then, and I don't intend to be quiet tonight. I believe as a fraternal corporation, and you advertise as a fraternal coordination company, that being fraternal isn't giving us 4 months' notice. It's not even giving a bag of food to the needy. I have 4 generations of Woodmen in my family alone. And how did we find out about it? I found that my old uncle had a paid-up policy back in 1894, I think it was. And my aunt thought it was dead and void. I called the governor's office and he told me how to get a hold of Woodman. I got a hold of Woodman and Aunt Evelyn was shocked that all the work you guys put into the company's gone down the tubes. I can't recommend Woodman again. I won't recommend Woodman again because I see a phony company now. I see somebody that's put all these men out of work in a time where we can't afford to be without work. The North Country, where I live, up in New York, they don't have a lot of business. Yeah, they have border patrol and drug police, maybe. I don't even know if they're still around. But the thing is that you're just saying, screw you. And that's wrong. That's not even being corporate in my eyes. That's being a big company, and you don't care about those small people. If you did, you would save these men's jobs. You wouldn't be saying, we're throwing you out and going out to California. California could be off the map next week. It's full of faults, earthquakes, whatever. You've got big cities, you've got Boston, you've got Newark, you've got New York City. How dare you? It's like cutting your nose off to spite your face. That's my P's and Q's, but I'll tell you, all my grandchildren and everybody else has their life insurance policy. And I know what I was promised, and I've read my policies over. And I've highlighted certain areas on those policies. And I'll tell you something, if it isn't word for word, you're going to be the sorriest people on earth. Because I can be a BITC agent, I can be very proud of it.
Well, you should expect us to fulfill any of the obligations that we have with those contracts, and we absolutely intend to do so. And
I should have been contacted a year ago, January, not this January.
thank you for that feedback.
So, my name is Taniko. I represent Chapter 120 out of Connecticut. I sit down, and every year I come, and it says New York, New England, and we have New York, New Jersey, and all of New England is consolidated now into two chapters in Connecticut. And we've even discovered that some of our members are in the New York chapter. So there's a lot of people in New England who are members that do not get no type of support, no type of fraternity, no type of anything. And we've been holding it. I remember the day that I became a chapter secretary, just by chance, that I went to a meeting, and 7 years later, I'm still here. And I'm still running. And I even did an event up in Massachusetts. We were planning something in Rhode Island. We were planning all these different things. We did not know this whatsoever. We heard it through the grapevine. And we lost our sales rep who was trying to hold it together. There's been consolidation after consolidation after consolidation. And we represent all New England. I mean, it's New York, New Jersey, and then us. And then I don't even know if the members who live in Connecticut or live in any other state in New England has been notified, because they're there's a lot of disconnect going forward. So my question is, you said you want to help fraternal. Are you going to actually acknowledge those people in the other New England states, Maine, Rhode Island, New Hampshire, Massachusetts? Is it my job to contact them? Because I know I haven't heard anything in Connecticut. I can tell you for a fact, I only heard it through the grapevine. And on a real close note, because we have a lot of young members in our chapter, and people want to know what's going to happen with campership. Is that something across the board? I feel like we were disenfranchised when we get a notice, even an email. Oh, send us 5 names and nominations for people who are interested in women. We send 5. Oh, you're going to be in some kind of list to win some kind of money. And then nobody get contacted because, oh, we don't have a sales force anymore. Now I have people asking me, you asked for my number, what are you doing with it? It puts a lot of weight on us as a chapter to explain something that Woodman should have did. You could send out a notice each month, but you couldn't explain it.
Yeah, well, certainly I need to take back the feedback in those states outside of New York, the communication plan, and so I certainly will do that. This decision does not affect the campership program, so that will remain in place as you move forward.
Will you be scrubbing I'm sorry, will you be scrubbing the list and actually have members who live in other states that's where they belong? Because New England, it's real funny when you look at the actual roster where people live at and what chapter is actually assigned to. I'm not looking for more work, but I think everybody should at least know what's going on, and it should be on us chapters to notify.
Yep, I'll certainly take that back. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kathy Parker. I was the sales rep for Connecticut, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, all of those. And to piggyback on what Taniko was saying, my understanding was that I could still service the states that I have a non-resident license in. To that point, I've been getting calls from Connecticut. I have about 5 people I need to call back who need help right now. I'm afraid to call them back because I don't know what to tell them. at this time. My understanding was I could still service, just not sell in those states, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island. Is that true? Can I talk to those people?
I believe that to be true, but let me follow up, someone follow up.
Okay, what are you going to tell me?
The only thing I'd like to bring out is what everybody's trying to say, bottom line. Even myself, when I think about it, I've been with Woodman 42 years, okay, even though I'm only 43. That it was such disrespect on Woodman's by just sending us a cold letter. We all should have been invited to a meeting, been told what is going to happen, and these letters are going out. The way it was done was very cold. That's the only way I can explain it. I almost couldn't believe it. And I want to know really why it was done so cold.
You want us to still push paternalism, which is great. But then when someone says, oh, Woodman Life, how can I join? Oh, you can't. You can't. Well, what makes you so special? I just was overwhelmed. I mean, how do you answer that?
I'm going to echo a little bit of what Donna Zabrowski said. I am an HR manager for an extremely large, local, long-time company in Vermont. I have over 750 employees who reach out to me and ask me, how can we get involved? How can we? And I think the New York issue is a bunch of BS because I deal in insurance, I work with brokers, that is my job. I read, I look at the laws, I look how I can service all of my employees between New Hampshire, Vermont, and New York. And I can offer them life insurance in New York with other brokers with zero issue with these supposed laws, with no problem, no increases. I have always given them to our New York representatives, and now I can no longer do that. And at this point, I wouldn't recommend, as she said, Woodman at all. These are my employees. My job that I get paid for is to take care of these people. They are local. A lot of them are minimum wage workers, and they have children, they have families, they're local, they struggle. And I know every single one of their names.
By name.
By name. I know who they all are. And I'm pretty disappointed to hear that this is a New York issue, or it's part of their bottom line, or it's part of their business. Because the company that I work for, even though it's hard to maintain some of those laws in New York, or Vermont, or New Hampshire. Every day, we are looking at it, and we are trying to better that employment and build new places for our people to work. Even though those laws exist, we put that little bit extra in because we know those people are worth it. We know those areas are worth it. So for Woodman not to put that effort in because of the bottom line sucks.
But see, they've forgotten what internal is.
Exactly.
And
Our company is a family company, and we maintain that family respect. Fraternal organization this is not.
No. And you have no right advertising it as such. None.
And your statement on here under fraternal funding about membership growth, they need to fix.
Stop charging us because you're not fraternal.
There is no membership growth with this.
Because you gave us no respect, you don't want our money. It's very simple.
My question is only pertaining to, you said that New York, to create new products, it costs a lot of money. So why don't you stop creating new products and just maintain the current products available? That was my biggest question.
That's a great question.
Aside from everything, because if you maintain the current product, everybody here could
Stay in business.
Yeah, stay in business, do whatever. I mean, just because you think you reinvented the wheel doesn't mean it's always gonna take off. Doesn't mean it's gonna roll smoothly. But if you've done something since, for over almost 130 years, and it's worked, why not just maintain that product so then the membership could grow? That was my biggest question, and it's not to stir up, anything but like.
It's a great question. So as I
They
stated,
also have to respect the people. And out of respect for the people, they've lost greatly. I bet you if you took the secret pool here of the nays and the yays, I bet you 10 to 1 you'd be dumbfounded how many nays you got. Because I had so much faith in this company. I think most of the people here would say that when we were running the camp, I donated physical time, I donated mattresses and bunk beds, and a whole lot of things to that camp to keep it up and running for our children. And that didn't come out of a corporation, that came out of Donna Zabrowski. I did it because I believed that I was working for an eternal company. I didn't even take it as a tax write-off because I felt that I was enhancing your corporation. Yeah, you gave me 4 months' notice, and then you tell me you're moving out of Vermont. Chuck you down. Well, guess what? Now it's not the same for me and Woodman. And I gotta tell you, I have money market accounts, I have everything with you. But I've already talked to my distributor. I want it all. My grandchildren's policies have been bought now for years. I'll still be paying for those. And I will pay the minimum on my money market account so I can use this at a meeting. But that's it. Gonna be bare minimum. And I'm sorry, but I really regret giving what I've given. And you should be ashamed because you're a corporation. And what kind of person works for a corporation that allows this? I want you to do some self-searching. That's the biggest one.
Listen, that's not fair. That's not fair. You're upset.
That's
You're
not
upset.
Denise' problem.
She's sent here to do Pat's dirty work.
Yep.
She doesn't want to be here doing this.
We sit here.
We're all upset. I lost my job with women after 4 years ago.
Me too.
And I was told a bunch of.
All right, she may not do it,
But
but
she
she's
doesn't
still
deserve
getting
this.
a paycheck. And you gotta
put
put
a
a
job.
Okay.
Why? They fired how many people?
No.
Stephanie?
Listen, my name is Ariel. As a former rep, I think we just need to remember that Denise is here as a middleman. She's here to deliver information. We're here to give her our feedback, but I think we need to remember the bigger picture. This wasn't her decision, okay? There's not much we can do about it. So, as a team, collectively, I think it would only be productive if we move forward.
Can I go ahead and answer Eric's question though? Because I think it's really important and it is difficult to maybe comprehend. We are primarily, and as it comes to a product company, focused on life insurance. And there's a whole lot of things that we have to do in order to maintain that life insurance business. We are not allowed, after a certain period of time, to sell products unless they're compliant with new CSO tables. So we can't just keep doing that, or else that would have been a great idea. And so we now have to be compliant in a certain period of time, and that leaves virtually nothing that would have been available on the life insurance side. And when it comes to other types of products, that's just not our primary business. And it's something we sell in order to support the other types of needs of a member. But that's the challenge. We would be sitting here having the same conversation, quite frankly, because we wouldn't have a life insurance product to bring new members in. That's the challenge that we're in. And I know that's not anything anyone wants to hear, and I appreciate people defending me, but I will take anybody's feedback, and ultimately I understand the pain that you're feeling in that. Yeah,
What's a CSO?
It's a way that you have to comply, and it's across the country. to a certain actuarial table for mortality. And so every so often, they have to have those updated, and when that happens, you have to get it recertified in all the states that you sell in. That's what that means. Yeah, you know, and
Does
here.
that apply for the, like, Vermont, and, you know, New Hampshire, Maine? I mean,
Yeah, any state throughout the United States.
I mean, like, I've talked to other companies just in comparison because of shopping for insurance, obviously, in the past. And it seems like those states are very quick and easy to get things passed. I mean, so much to the point where you throw them $70 in your license. I mean, it's, you know, it's like, yes, they take a test because they just say, well, you're licensed in New York, so it's pretty much a given here. You know, the licensing process is easy, so I can't imagine the product aspect is any harder in comparison. So if you're, like, for instance, if you're licensed in North Carolina, where the population is booming, I can imagine if you want to get licensed in North Carolina and Rhode Island, it's got to be pretty comparable.
Yeah, and I think we need to bring some clarification, and quite honestly, off the top of my head, I don't have all those answers on those other states, but several of the states across the country, like I said, I believe it's about 39 or 40 that are part of that compact. So those states would still be able to be supported, Eric, so we, along with the other information you guys are supporting, we can come back with that, so, our insurance is back. Yes.
The problem is 98% of the business came from New York. Okay, so if we move the office to, let's say, Vermont or New Hampshire, okay, there's not enough production coming there to support that office. Listen, I don't want to lose my job.
We already did, so it doesn't
I
matter.
still got a month, okay?
Yeah,
It's
it's
not
over.
right on my board yet. Okay, but we don't want to lose our job either, but if you're doing it on a business standpoint, can you survive not having the production to carry that? You really can't.
We were just able to adopt our foster daughter on March 21st, and it's been a long process. We were thankful it was March 21st because we were in Tim's office on Monday signing her for life insurance, knowing that she would not have the benefits her brothers have if she was adopted April 1st. The customer service that I got receiving her policy on Tuesday was me going to the post office to sign it. That is awesome customer service. I also have another question. Last year, where does New York State rank in the sales and profit compared to the other states?
I can't speak to profitability off the top of my head, but I think that New York usually ranked in 15 or 16, is that correct? Out of about, not all 50 states, but out of the...
We were within thousands of being anywhere from 11 to 15.
We have 10 states behind us.
Yeah, we're always number one on the bottom line, which means we don't lose numbers. Membership increases, we're always number one. Okay, but you know, there's more to it than.
We're the #1 manager and 2 sales reps in the top 5.
And we'll talk about that.
So how is that cost effective to then end the sales in our region?
I mean, you've got to look at the other business realities. It isn't just about cost. It's the reality of, can we allow our sales reps to earn a living using selling local products?
I too will be moving my retirement though.
Pardon? Pardon, ma'am?
I said I too will be keeping our life insurance, but I will be moving my retirement that I had to my other job.
And you have every right to do so. I understand that. Yes, sir.
So you're saying that you're pulling out of New York because they aren't part of the 39 states?
That's usual.
So what you're saying is these people should be calling their governor to get into that pact. And if they did, would you go back into New York?
I think any time that the business situation would be different, we would reevaluate that. Being a part of the compact is for the type of organization that we are in terms of our size, it does make things a lot quicker to move forward.
And
The governor's not throwing it back.
Did you deal with the state of New York before you made the decision?
Pardon?
Did you deal with the state of New York and try to get them to join this pact?
We are a part of different regulatory groups that are involved with those types of things, but we certainly aren't a body that can lobby. It's not within our rights to do so. So that's not, no, that's not something we're able to do as a fraternal organization. We're not political. Yes, ma'am.
As a fraternal member, would we have been able to lobby on behalf of our products? I think you missed out by not engaging us early in this process, and you missed our political clout. As a group, we could have gone, might have been able to go and change something.
And I think the compact is one aspect of it, but there's broader pieces than that alone. So I appreciate the sentiment very much.
We could not have asked you to do that.
That's a good point.
When was the decision made?
We can't hear Carol.
I always. When was the decision made? And was it part of the national convention?
The question was, when was the decision made? And was it part of the national convention? You mean the last one?
Yeah.
No, oh no, it was made this year.
So Mr. D had a question.
Well, he doesn't have, he doesn't report to anybody.
And January does.
Yes,
Well,
but
he doesn't.
he doesn't. So who gave him the power to do that?
I don't think that we,
Who?
Whoever voted.
Whoever voted him in. Did you vote him in? You did. No, I didn't.
Were you with the last national convention?
No. No.
yeah, and let's be clear, Pat does have, the board of directors, Pat does report to, and so the board was a part of the decision ultimately.
He told us that this was under consideration for the past 10 years, that they've been talking about it, that there was something that would come up. But again, getting back to responsibility, he said it was his call, he made the decision, and the buck stopped with him.
Absolutely.
So to take it out on anyone else is not fair. He told us he would be here if he didn't have a conflict at the Texas convention. We weren't happy about him not being here, but when he did meet with the jurisdictional people last month or 2 months ago, he was very much saying he made the decision. If you want to call on somebody, call him out. He made the decision. It wasn't
Well, I think the question that Carol asked is when was the decision made? So that's what I answered. I think regardless, no matter where we do business or what we do, what products we have, that's always on the table of what should we be doing? What should we be doing with the fraternal system? And ultimately, it is Pat's, I mean, he's the CEO of the organization, the chairman of the board. So I just want to be clear that it's not a matter of he just goes in, there was a careful consideration.
And again, back to the national convention, there's the fraternal side and there's the business side. And we're still part of the fraternal, the business is just left. But it did hurt a lot of hearts. It wounded people to the quick because we felt slapped in the face.
So you were saying the Insurance Compact Commission, which I did pull it up, and it lists every state in New England except for New York. So what was again the logic of the reason why they couldn't sell it in other states, Vermont, the rest of New England, New Jersey? What was the logic behind that?
I don't think that there's a matter we cannot sell. That's where I want to come back and get some communication.
It's done for our jurisdiction.
I think in terms of having a sales force there.
Wow.
Let me take that back, Will. I want to make sure that we're 100% clear on that.
makes it easier for insurance products. I feel if I understood this a little better, it would help.
Yeah, the concept is that when we have a new product and we have to file, we file one application and it's reviewed by multiple states. That's the difference. So you get an approval and you're ready to sell in multiple states. As opposed to, and there are other states that we sell that aren't within the compact, so I want to be clear on that, but in other words, that state can come back and make changes. And it's not a bad thing. By no, every state, this is a country that's governed by states, right? That's okay. It just, for us, it did not make sense to continue in the state of New York, given the environment.
Compared to other states that are not part of the compact, is New York stricter or about requirements?
Yes.
You were saying something about the CSO.
There are just uniquenesses that cause us to have to expend more resources in order to get that product then approved. And when you look at then what's the potential sales in that case, the amount of time it's going to take, it's a decision to be made. But thank you for your question. Yes?
I'm Lisa McCord. I was in sales for 4 years with Women Life. I think that we've all voiced our opinion. I think if you beat a horse to death, it is over, it's done. We need to move forward. The thing that I ask of Women Life is what you haven't done. And communication sucks. It needs to be brought to everyone's attention. You have Bob over here who doesn't even know what he can do as a salesperson. So you really need to get it together.
Yeah.
And put it in writing.
Yeah, that's very evident.
Yes.
And it starts with this thing you handed us today. You handed us this, it's got an 800 number, I think Omaha, not sure. But again, it doesn't say who would really give us answers. So it starts with your communications. Everybody is sent here. No contact. We didn't even know Mr. Pennington and what his purpose was or who he was. My goodness, he's a community outreach person. He's the one that we need to sit around with. Nobody else. Him. But there's nothing up here and nothing that you sent us to tell us anything. So
I will make sure we take that back. Thank you. Yes.
Yep, okay. First of all, I want to thank both of you for showing up here today. I don't know if I would have had that courage. I want to make a question, and I want to make a point on something else after, but after the jurisdictional convention 2 years from now, in the future, how will this jurisdiction pick national delegates?
Those will be determined every 4 years at your annual fraternal event. You'll have an election at that time, so every 4 years, and they'll serve 4-year terms.
So operate kind of like
It's
this?
pretty much the same way it's done.
Okay. My wife and I joined Woodman in '75. I just lost my job, and I'd heard about this fraternal order and insurance, and I was very impressed. And I believed in life insurance, and I believed in the family fraternity and the community fraternity. And that's what brought me to the Woodman and helped me to establish Lodge 462, which is we're having our 45th annual awards banquet in about a month. I worked for Woodman as a field rep and an area manager starting in '77. And when I went to Omaha, the first thing they told us was a double track, the fraternal side and the business side. And I think we're on only one track now, and I find that very disappointing. I also found when I went to Omaha that a lot of people there were still fighting the Civil War. And when they heard from New York, all they thought it was Manhattan. They didn't know there was something besides Manhattan in New York. So I don't know what kind of people are still leading it. I have been a national delegate on 2 occasions. But when you lose a field rep, you're losing more than just a salesperson. You're losing somebody who can help you convert your term insurance, convert your additional insurance option. When you got a retirement plan and you want to retire and you need to know it, I found it a lot easier when Dwayne Langlois showed up at my door rather than calling the guy in Omaha. I could sit across from this person, he could fill me in on what I needed to do with my IRA. We're losing that. We're going to change beneficiaries, death benefit, when somebody dies. When that field rep comes face to face with you, that means a heck of a lot more than some cold call to some grieving widow, called Omaha. That's not a way to treat a fellow fraternalist. I think it's a very bad way to treat people who are part of a fraternal society. I think we've lost our credibility in that respect as a fraternal. We might as well buy insurance from Alex Trebek if we're going to just get on the phone and do it that way. And I'm wondering about the viability of Omaha. When we look back at Montgomery Ward's closed, when Kmart closed, when Toys R Us closed, or Radio Shack, when your local store closed, it meant the whole place was going down the tubes. I'm just wondering if this is the first step in what could be a detriment to the whole society here. I wonder if the people who aren't part of our jurisdiction will learn of this in the Woodman magazine. I think people sitting in California and other states deserve to hear what's happening here in whatever light Mr. Dees decides to put it in, but at least that ought to be made known to these people. They're part of our society, and they should have the same chance to know about what's happening here. If this was happening in another jurisdiction, I'd want to know about it, and I'm sure that they would want to know about it too. And that's basically it. I think, like Donna said, we might be in a breach of contract here as far as, the double track, that fraternal and that business side. I'm not too happy with that. Like I said, I've been part of the Woodman for 44 years, and what brought it wasn't me selling insurance. I was never a great salesperson, but I could sell the fraternal side. And we got things going because of that. And it's unfortunate that this decision was made. And if you can't sell Woodman in Tupper Lake, you're in trouble. Because that's Woodman headquarters right there.
I appreciate everybody's comments. It definitely, I just want to say a few things before we continue. It bothered me for this decision to have to be made, but it was made. And I appreciate all of your comments. Apparently, the communication has been pretty poor, and we will take your comments back to Omaha and make sure that's improved. But one thing was said, nobody knew who Mickey was, and you don't know who Michelle is. So let me just do a little bragging that I wish Pat had done on the video. When I became chairman of the National Board Fraternal Committee, I went to Pat and I said, Pat, I'm going to wait for us to be able to bounce products or ideas off of the sales force. And I asked him to get me the names of the best salespeople in Woodman that we could bounce those things off of. And so we created a committee. And two people in this room were put on that committee, Rodney Barber and Michelle Guyver. Rodney is retiring, of course, not on his own idea, but Michelle is taking over, and you are in great hands fraternally with Michelle. Just to brag on her a little bit more, a couple of years ago was the final Pig and Shrimp Convention, and if you've never heard of that, in the Southeast there was a convention called the Pig and Shrimp Convention. They'd have barbecue one night and shrimp the next night, but it was basically just a fraternal convention. The final one was in North Carolina a couple of years ago, and Michelle came down a day early and spent a whole day working at the Salvation Army with the rest of us. So she gets it, and you're going to have full support. Now, on Mickey, when you look at nationally at the names of the top of the list of the community outreach managers, Mickey is right at the top. And so when he heard the situation here, he volunteered to come up this way and help us. So please reach out to them. They're here to help you. And so now we return to the killing portion, so you can go back to your questions.
Now, questions need to be done. We need to move on. There's other stuff that has to still happen.
Lisa.
I have a question.
My question is regarding the jurisdiction. Treasury. How will that look in 2021 when we're finished with our convention?
The treasury, if there's money left over, will probably go to the corporation.
Hope there's millions.
Yeah, it'd be nice if there's millions.
What if there's millions?
That'd be very, very cool. Yes.
A legal question.
I'll call Matt Ellis and we'll get your answer.
Our fraternal corporation is a 501c3. Has an independent board of directors. The members are dues-paying chapters. We have what we call a campership program. The jurisdiction, on the other hand, has a scholarship program that is contributed to by the chapters. That program, under your 2021 forward plan, is going to go away. The basis of our 501c3 is for the benefit and education of children. If we were to move that scholarship program into our fraternal corp, who's going to fund that?
That's one we'll probably need to get Matt Ellis in the home office to answer that one. Well, there's still going to be money coming in.
I've heard that several of the salespeople have started working for another insurance company. Can you tell us about that?
Well, he can't do that, that's not his. He doesn't know that, he can't. I mean, if you see individuals out there and you want to talk to them about what they're doing in their career, that's fine. But he can't.
I was just wondering if that was something that Woodman had done.
Yeah, we have that one.
I just would like to, I don't think we need to bring it to a close too, but we thank you for not bringing your armor and standing here very bravely in front of us when we're all hurt. Earlier tonight I had said I felt like I was on the other side of a divorce, which I've never been through, and I never knew what it was like to have it hit you. Well, this is how we are. We're in a divorce situation here. Maybe you folks don't think that way, but I think that's really where we're coming from. So thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Don't be afraid because the fraternal side of us, we're always going to be friends. We're just not happy with the people that didn't have the pleasure of coming when we really would have liked to have seen them, but they know why they didn't want to come. So here we are.
Remember, now they both volunteered for this.
Yeah.
Denise was a last minute fill-in. So, I think it's because we're buddies, so. I figured I wouldn't beat them up too bad.
On another note, I did want to tell you that Homeland Security issued a new warning, so if any of you are walking around town the next couple of days, if you've seen the last few years, criminals actually dress up like clowns and attack people. And I wanted to tell you that Homeland Security issued a warning today that if any of you are attacked by a group of clowns, you should go for the jugular. Hopefully a little bit of levity will help.
Mr. Schreiber, do you remember me?
I remember you.
Yes, I was the first president of the Vermont Lodge when you came up to Manchester.
And that was
your
a wonderful
first-
convention.
First corporate. Mark Tyson. And Rodney, I think you were in the hospital at the time. That's how long ago.
You drove me to the hospital?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't put it in,
No.
but anyway. Remember, I wrote this Vermonters that are, I didn't line out,
You
Speak from the heart.
You speak from the heart, and that's the way it should be.
But we just need some answers. And I'm not kidding.
Denise has a long list she's written down, and she's taking them back to Omaha.
But I never wanted it personal. I wanted you to know that I was just as honest tonight as I was honest to the president of the company. In fact, he talked to me all the way out to the car. So I know I had his attention.
Thank you for that. Is there anything else that I can do to help?
How soon will you stop collecting the fraternal dues? How soon will you stop collecting the fraternal dues?
The shooting for the end of 2019, but it's not in stone.
There will be communication once that action is happening.
Yes, we are making sure there will be communication.
That'll save us $18 a month, so. So that'll save us $18 a month, so.
Where you been? 36?
No, 18 a month. I pay for six. I pay for 6 certificates.
I just want to share the sentiment. I am more than happy to continue the dialogue. If somebody wants to check my list, we can over the weekend. We'll be here through Sunday. And if I can find some things out, a couple of the clarifications that may be able to find out more quickly, I will do so, and then we can share those. But thank you so much for your honesty, your integrity, and honestly your commitment to your civilian life. And I think it is a lot, probably feel like a divorce. So it's probably a great analogy. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
There's a lot of information this past Candace. There's a lot of unanswered questions yet. I would like to take a minute to speak to the field force. They're not here, and they were given so little opportunity, it's not funny. I mean, we really, Rodney, your people took this with a bullet. I mean, they really took the bullet. And I think it's terrible the way they handle people. I mean, you know, Mr. Dees, I don't care. It's not in his best interest to do it with us. He's made a lot of us angry. And he can sit here and tell you this, that, and the other thing. But we're not happy. I mean, Donna, she's happy. I remember when she first came in. Our lodge got a hold of her. She said, "What's a corporation? What's this all about?" She asked questions. And we said, "Come to Glens Falls, or we'll meet you part way." And that's what Woodman has done. They've answered people's questions. And the field force was very important in doing that. But we don't have them anymore. They're gone. And if you were to ask them to come back, they wouldn't come back. They never come back. No, they won't come back. Anyone have any comments about that? Yeah, Donna.
Well, when I first came to Woodman, it was Norm that told me I even belonged to a lodge, and then I asked him, "What's the lodge?" And I'd already been a member for 28 years.
Right.
And my kids were all members. And I didn't even know we paid the dues. Johnson Jeff comes in. I didn't know anything about it. And he says, "I figured you knew about it." But it was kind people, and it was fraternal. That's why I felt I had just lost my husband and son. I felt like I gained a family. Then they shot me in the foot. And that's why I felt then, because I believed in you guys. That's why I felt God had treated me right. It was my duty to turn the corner. You turn and you give back. I didn't like being retired, getting up at 6 in the morning and going to cooking all those kids breakfast and not leaving until 7:30 at night. Or the year nobody showed up to clean the camp and I had to remove rats and coons with a shovel. The plumber comes over and he looks at me and goes, everybody else is here, I'm removing Marcus's. And he says, well, let me get out of your way. Did he actually say that? No. But that's what us Vermonters do. You can take a lot out of me, you can't make the Vermont out of me.
100%. It is a divorce, and when you've been through a divorce, I'm sorry, but you rip the Band-Aid up, you take everything you own, and you run. Because what was there, the reason why you got divorced, you moved away from it. But comment with Donna again, the reason I paid twice as much for my life insurance was because I have no other family in Vermont. This is my family. These are people I can count on.
We're glad to have you. We are very glad to have
I can count on Tanya, I've met Ariel, I've met all these amazing people over all these years, and know that if I needed something, I could reach out to almost any single one of them as a family. And that doesn't, you know, how do you're not just taking away, you're taking that away. How do we survive doing that? And they won't do that. They won't recommend doing that.
Well, I can tell you that a lot of us don't want to see any plans to merge this jurisdiction with the other. We don't want to merge anyway, okay? No, we don't want to. And we're not crazy about that $500 tax code thing. I heard that, I went home and I said, what's...
You don't want $500 a month?
No,
Make it here?
no, you know, we can earn that doing stuff. That's how much. $500 a month today?
I think the intent of that is that that's a it wasn't made to meet the situation, it was just eligible. Not just
Rodney, I just want to be sure, when you see the guys, you see any of them, just tell them that our health goes on, our hearts go out to them, okay? We don't know what they went through, but it's not fair. It's really not fair. Any other questions?
I just want to remind you that the two committees have to meet tonight.
That's right. Very quick.
Thank you.
Well, we'll get to it. All right, if there's no more questions, we'll ask Brian to please come up and do the memorial presentation. Where'd he go?
He has a child. He has a child.
Right, looking for a job.
Yeah.
Hey, Will, can I say one quick thing? Everybody that lost their jobs is working. Everybody that lost their job in Woodman has a job right now. Some people will think that people that were fired aren't working, that we all have jobs. There's other insurance companies that swoop us straight up. They just gobble us straight up.
You can contact me
Not that you want.
at 534-2302.
We'd rather be working for Woodman still, really. But there's other companies that gobble us straight up, so we're going to do okay.
Well, we can thank God for that because you did good for your life and it came back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Much like that,
Okay.
all my
All right, here we go.
Each time jurisdictional delegates come together, we celebrate generations of Woodman life traditions. Among those traditions is the moment to honor loved ones who have passed on, but who remain with us because of the choice they made to support and protect their families. Memorial services have always been an important part of honoring Woodman life members. In the early 1900s, chapters decorated graves with flowers and held public processions with floats, music, and speeches every summer. Though our loved ones' voices have been silenced, the good they did for others still speaks loudly. We celebrate their acts of patriotism, community service, and fraternal involvement. Each of them played a crucial role in helping their communities. Most importantly, they made a difference in the lives of their families by passing down financial security and closely held values. The principle of service they embodied has guided Woodman life since our founding, and it continues to direct us today. It was present every time these fallen loved ones presented a flag or joined hands in service to their community. They proved true the saying that what we do for ourselves dies with us, but what we have done for others and the world remains and is immortal. Furthermore, this occasion gives us the opportunity to offer special recognition to those who protected us, our veterans, active military members, and first responders. Whether they were on active duty, served in the reserves or National Guard, or whether they were full-time or volunteer first responders, every one of them gave their time to make sure we were safe. Together, let us honor those who have left us. 19,467 Woodman Life members have been laid to rest since our jurisdictional conventions in 2017. Please take a moment of silence to remember them in your hearts. Love and remember those who left us. Support their family members who grieve their absence. Remember, too, their selflessness in serving their communities, and do your best to carry forward their commitment to service.
Anyone seeking an office must submit paperwork immediately after this meeting. Please give it to Phil Udall. We have some blanks if you want.
Also, anybody that didn't sign in, please see me at the back to sign in the forms before I go to credential meeting.
The credentials meeting will take place in the Hudson Room immediately after this meeting. And the scholarship committee will take place in Saratoga Road. At this point, I'd like to recess for the president's reception in the Champlain Room. It's on the second floor. Oh, Carol?
If anyone has any scholarship checks that they would like to give, please present them now. And if anybody have any bills that they need, that includes Ryan for the programs, Please get them to me so we can consider them before we do the mileage and per diem.
In the hospitality room, you're gonna find horse racing, basket viewing, silent and auction items are gonna be on display. So we'll see you up there. At this point in time, we're going to recess. Okay, 9:30. 9:30,